Children of rural India. Many of them do not go to school. The dropout and absentee rate among them is very high. Their general literacy level remains low. The resulting unemployment is consequently on the increase. What are the reasons for this situation? What will make these children take more interest in learning? How does one encourage parents to support children in their education? How does one battle these problems? Where rules for compulsory education have failed to work, perhaps it would be wiser to create a better classroom environment that would inspire the children to attend classes and learn out of sheer interest in learning. But first, let us examine the specific problems of the existing classroom system. Primarily, there was a shortage in the number of teachers in classrooms. This resulted in a situation where a single teacher was handling children from class 1 through class 4 in a single room. The ideal situation of one teacher per classroom is not likely to happen for a long time yet in the country because of the lack of sufficient finances for the purpose. Ironically enough, a concerted effort by locals to build more schools and upgrade them in villages resulted in less children attending each school and hence even less funding per school to recruit more teachers. The challenge now was to keep a group of children of varied ages studying in different classes, interested in learning through the efforts of a single or maybe two teachers. The multi-level situation was already in existence. What could be done to make the best of this situation? The seed of a thought was sown in October 1995 when a small group of people headed by Mr. Baig in Karnataka and assisted by the UNICEF began working on the concept of activity-based learning.
We wanted to know as to what is happening in other places. So one inspiration that we derived was from Rishi Valley when we sent a team of people, teachers and diet staff, and they all went to Rishi Valley and they saw in the satellite schools what is happening over there. Then with that, we were able to get a number of ideas. So in the first session that we had, the training workshop that we had with the teachers, here what we did was we selected 36 teachers who are handling class 1 and 2 in HD Kote. Hitherto the practice was that anytime we talk in terms of resource person, he is a resource person who is there at the state level or higher level. And maybe he is not a classroom practitioner. Even if he is a classroom practitioner, he may not be a practitioner in class 1 and 2. So what we wanted to see was, teacher empowerment could be given. We know that a lot of potential is available in the teachers. So we thought, we could exploit the potential that is available. Hitherto we are talking in terms of multi-grade teaching. Now we thought, why not go in for multi-level teaching, keeping individual differences that are there within the child.
Yeah, that's true.
So one child could be there who would be learning very fast, one child is there who is learning very slow. So we thought, we would give an equal opportunity to all the children, keeping the minimum levels of learning. In the first workshop, we developed material that would last for about 6 or 8 months. So this
6 or 8 months in the classroom situation.
In the classroom situation. Yes. Then we thought, we would train the other teachers in the taluk. We took the whole block as a unit, which contains about 287 schools. Thereby, we had to train about 300 teachers in HD Kote. In the first session that we had, we saw that the same resource persons, that is, 36 teachers who are class 1 and 2 teachers, these people would do the training job. Hitherto, to the remaining teachers. Hitherto, what used to happen was it was diet or DACRT or somebody from the DDPI's office who used to do the training. We were also present. Our role was only to intervene wherein some knots
more
were
like a facilitator.
Wherever some difficult areas were there or some ideas are clashing over there. So this type of a peer group training system that we evolved, there was a lot of interaction in the sessions that were there. And thereby at the same time the teachers were willing to accept
The ideas, because
the
it came
ideas
from the teachers.
From the teachers. In the other workshops, teachers would stand outside and say, this fellow is telling number of things, whether he has actually practiced in the classroom. So thereby this criticism is taken care of, and we develop the material. The material that we prepared was to be manually prepared by the teachers themselves.
Rather than supplying it. Yeah.
So there is certain amount of mental interaction with every activity card the teacher is preparing.
That means the involvement of the teacher in the development of the material. Yeah.
Involvement of the teachers empowerment, and whatever material that we have prepared, it is open to a lot of criticism. So in case if we go for a print material, we would be very defensive about the investment that we have made. Since it is only a manually prepared material, any criticism that is there, if it is acceptable and we feel that what we have done is wrong, it could be immediately removed from the ladder, and a new activity could be added over there. First session we had for 10 days, and we had prepared material for 8 months. Then afterwards, what is to be done for the remaining part of the academic year? So again, this 36 people joined together, and we prepared the material for the remaining term. Since we brought in the concept of multi-level teaching also, wherein within the class there could be many number of levels. Now we have decided 6 levels within a classroom.
6 levels in language, mathematics.
But for EVS it would be a general session. As far as language and mathematics is concerned, we are talking in terms of 6 groups. These 6 groups again have been divided on the basis of the amount of attention that is required of the teacher in the classroom transaction. If it is an activity wherein the teacher has to remain with the children, okay, that is one group. Partially the teacher requirement is there, that would form the second group. What could be done by the peer group, that is among the children themselves, that forms the third group. Partially supported by the peer group, that would form the fourth group. Different. And what is self-learning material, that is again divided into a fifth group. A seating arrangement that is made into the classroom is also made in such a fashion so that the children requiring attention would be nearer to the teacher. A self-learning material, games and evaluation and things of that sort, they would be far away from the teacher.
Let us first take a look at how language is handled in this multi-level teaching method. In what can be called the first group of learning, all the children in the class are taught songs and told stories in a general session as a sort of readiness exercise to prepare them for what they will be learning. Simple conversations are conducted using puppets to familiarize them with the language. The first learning group, totally supported by the teacher, learns certain chosen alphabets with the help of rubber cutouts of the letters. The child then traces the shape of each of these letters with the help of locally available seeds and is so initiated to acquire the skill of writing. The teacher also creates situations wherein words formed from these specific alphabets are used in the conversation so that the child becomes familiar with its usage. Partially teacher supported, the children used the picture rail to learn to associate pictures in the Akshara rail with similar shaped letters of the vernacular alphabet. The Akshara rail makes the children more interested in the learning process. The children are given a jumble of letters of the alphabet which they will match with a given strip of assorted letters called Akara Gurti Suvapatti. Apart from 14 different craft work, the children are also given drawing games to encourage individual interest and involvement. In this section called Sadhana, words are matched with the pictures they represent. Once the child is comfortable with the letters and words, he or she then identifies abstract words. Later, the child is introduced to simple pictorial sentences. There are 4 activities in this group which helps the teacher evaluate the children. Asha Atta is a memory test for the child to associate the sound with the shape of the letter. In Padagala Atta, a checkerboard is used to play a game with letters on the lines of the Scrabbles game. This familiarizes children with words and their meanings. Children also match pictures with words. Filling missing letters in words will help test their knowledge of the words. A process of self-evaluation is involved in Nenapina Atta and Nanna Sadhane, which are actually games which the children can play amongst themselves even while they test their own knowledge. Evaluation is in fact a part of the self-learning group, where the games are modeled to help the children test themselves on how much they know. However, there is also a chart where each child marks the stage he or she is in the learning process. That way, both teacher and student are up to date with the progress of the child, and each child individually gets to learn and master every stage of learning.
ರಗಸದ ಅನ್ನೋ ಅಕ್ಷರನ ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜವಮಬನ ಪಯ ಉಡಾಟ ಚ 3 ಅಕ್ಷರ ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಪ್ ಇದೆ. ಅದಷ್ಟನ್ನು ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಒಂದು ಮೌಲ್ಯಮಾಪನನ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು. ಆಶಾಟ ಅನ್ನೋದು
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಕಾಂಪ್ರಿಹೆನ್ಸಿವ್ ಎವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ
ಸತತ ಇದೆ ಸರ್. ಈಗ ರಗಸದ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕಲ್ತಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪದಗಳ ಆಟ, ಅಕ್ಷರಗಳನ್ನೇ ತಗೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಪದಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನ ಕಲಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಅದು ಒಂಥರ ಇವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್.
How do you compare this with the type of the system which is existing in the other places?
They have remained as teachers for the last 10 years, 15 years, whatever it is, and they know what the real situation of the classroom is. What is universal promotion, how they have been promoting, how they have been pushing and pulling these children up to 7th standard or 10th standard.
ಹಳೆಯ ಪದ್ಧತಿಯಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ
ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತಿತ್ತು, ಕೆಲವು ಮಕ್ಳು ಕಲಿತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಕೆಲವು ಮಕ್ಳು ಕಲಿತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ನು 4ನೇ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ, ಸುಮ್ನೆ ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಅವ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ಲಿ ಬಿಡ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ. ಇಂದಿನ ಪದ್ಧತಿಲಿ ನಾವು ಅವನಿಗೆ ಸಮಯ ಕೊಡ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಲಿಬೇಕು ಅಷ್ಟು ಅವನಿಗೆ ಸಮಯ ಕೊಡ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಅವನು ಕಳಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ. ಬುದ್ಧಿವಂತ ಹುಡುಗ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಲಿಯೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಮಯ ತಗೋತಿದ್ನೋ, ಇವ್ನು ಕಲೀಲಿ ಬಿಡಿ ಅವನ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಇವನು ಮುಂದಿನ ತರಗತಿ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ.
ಮತ್ತೆ ಮುಂಚೆ ನಾವು ಆದಿಂದ ಆ ತನಕ ಅಕ್ಷರಗಳನ್ನ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಲಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಅಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಮಗುವಿಗೆ. ಆಗ ಆ ಮಗು ಯಾವ ಅಕ್ಷರ ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಕಲ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನಮ್ಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಈಗ ಆ ಅಕ್ಷರಗಳನ್ನ ಕಲಿಸಿದಾಗ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಕ್ಷರನ ಮಗುವಿಗೆ ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ ಆ ಅಕ್ಷರ ಆ ಮಗು ಪತ್ತೆ ಹಚ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ.
There are children who are in 6th standard. For these 6th standard children, you give them the Kannada book of class 2 and ask the child to read. The child is not able to read. Because nothing has happened, no learning has taken place, because the systematic way in which the alphabet is to be taught, the matras are to be taught, the stress words are to be taught, that systematic thing is not there even in the conventional textbooks that are prepared by the department.
It is lacking, that's what
it's lacking.
Let us now see how mathematics is dealt with in this step-by-step process of learning. Just as in language teaching, there are 6 groups and 6 levels of teaching. Children are introduced to mathematical concepts through a series of readiness exercises, which include songs and outdoor activities. Informal measurements, which are in common practice in rural households, are dealt with at first as a method of moving from familiar to unfamiliar concepts. While some children familiarize themselves with rubber cutouts of the numbers, others write the numbers to learn them. Indoor activities of counting using seeds, sticks and other local materials are also carried on here. In Group 2, children learn counting, addition, multiplication, and the concepts of less, more, and equal numbers. Teachers ask them oral questions in these to check their understanding of the concepts. Children help each other to learn subtraction and other mixed operations. Different craft activities and also games are used for child interaction, including puzzles, strips which have to be placed in their specific grooves, as well as memory games and mental sums. Asha Atta and Nanna Sadhane are games which help the children in self-evaluation. They test their memory through the Nenapina Atta using games where colored dice are used to identify numbers.
These teachers who have been training, what has been their feedback to you?
Initially, the response was not very positive. Like they felt, it's a lot of work is being extracted from them. And hitherto, government teachers, if at all any workshop is to be done, it's just some ready-made material that is supplied. Here, it is something wherein they'll have to break their back, sit down, prepare the material, take back to the classroom. And wherever the cards are lost or cards are damaged, they'll have to go in for fresh material. Later on, I think every teacher derives a sort of a pleasure when the children are learning.
ಮೂರನೇ ತರಗತಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಇವಾಗ 4ನೇ ತರಗತಿ ಅವ್ರು ಬಂದಿರೋದು ದೇ ಆರ್ ಕಮ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಜನರಲ್ ಮೆಥಡ್, ಥರ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಕಮ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ MLL ಮೆಥಡ್. ಅದರಿಂದ ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಈ ಜನರಲ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಓನ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಬುಕ್ಗೆ ಅಡಿಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರ ಬುಕ್ಕಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಓದ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವರು ಏನನ್ನ ಕಲಿತಾರೆ ಅದೊಂದೇ. ಆದರೆ ಈ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ, ಹಿಂದಿನ ಈಗ 3ನೇ ತರಗತಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ 1-2ನೇ ತರಗತಿ ಕಾರ್ಡನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಓದಿಸಿದಾಗ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಓದ್ತಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದೇ ಪದಗಳು ಬೇರೆ ದೊಡ್ಡ 5ನೇ ತರಗತಿ 6ನೇ ತರಗತಿ ಪುಸ್ತಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಾಗ ಅದನ್ನು ಓದೋ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗಿರುತ್ತೆ.
Since this was seen in the classroom, I think that has given some positive impetus to the teachers to see that they make use of this material in the classroom.
ಪ್ರಾರಂಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ, ಗಣಿತದಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ 1-2 ಬರೆಯೋದು, ಬರವಣಿಗೆ ಇದು 1-2 ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ, ಬರವಣಿಗೆ ಕಲಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಕೂಡೋದು ಕಳಿಯೋದನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ. ಈ 3ರಲ್ಲಿ 2 ಕೂಡು ಕಳಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ. ಇಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಥರ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಕಲ್ಪನೆ, ಮೂಲ ಕಲ್ಪನೆನ ನಾವು ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆ ಮೂಲಕ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ.
The other criticism that is there from the teacher is, where do we have time for all these things?
ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯ ಇದೆ, ಈ ಥರ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆ ಆಧಾರಿತ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಸಮಯ ತುಂಬ ಬೇಕು, ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಪ್ರಿಪ್ರೇಷನ್ ಬೇಕು ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಅಂತ.
ಅದು ಮೊದಲು ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮೊದಲನೇ ವರ್ಷ ನಮಗೆ ಆ ಥರ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು ಸರ್. ಇವಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಈ 2ನೇ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಫುಲ್ ಕಲ್ತಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಆ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಸಹಾಯನೇ ತಗೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಬೇರೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಕಲಿಸೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಕಷ್ಟ ಅಂತ.
When I am teaching addition, maybe I have got 10 cards over there. But in the actual classroom situation, what happens is when you give these cards to the children, within 2-3 minutes they would have finished all the problems and come back to the teacher saying that
another card.
Miss, I have finished this.
ಅವ್ರು ಕಾರ್ಡ್ನ ಕಲಿಯೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಬೇಗ ಕಲಿತಾರೆ. ಒಂದು ಗ್ರೂಪಲ್ಲಿ IQ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರೋ ಮಗು ಇದ್ದರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಬೇಗ ಕ್ಯಾಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಾನೆ ನಾವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದನ್ನು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಆ ಕಲ್ತಿರೋ ಮಗುನ ಮತ್ತೆ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನೀವು ಇವರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡಿ ಅಂತ ಅಂದಾಗ ಅವ್ರು ಅದನ್ನು ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಒಬ್ಬರಿಂದ ಒಬ್ಬರು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡಿ.
They want more number of cards.
Do they have so many cards with them to give it?
Cards are also there and we have also developed supplementary material for that.
ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಏನೋ ರಜೆ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಹೇಗೆ?
ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರು ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲೇ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಟೀಚರ್ 3-4 ತಗೊಳ್ತಾರೆ ಸರ್. ಆ ಟೀಚರೇ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಅವರೇ ಇದೇ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ
ಅವರಿಗೆ ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀರಾ?
ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀವಿ.
ಅನುಭವ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಆ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಆ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರು ಓದ್ತಾ ಇರೋ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಯಾವುದು ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ನಲ್ಲಿ 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ಹೀಗೆ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಯಾವ ಕಾರ್ಡನ್ನ ಓದಿ ಮುಗಿಸಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಯಾವ ಕಾರ್ಡನ್ನ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಆಧಾರದ ಮೇಲೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ನಾನು ಆ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಓದಿಸ್ತೀನಿ.
ಮುಂಚೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ.
ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಂಬರ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಷನ್.
ಗುಂಪು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೇಗೆ, ಏನಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಹೆಸರು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರಾ?
ಹೌದು, ಒಂದೇ ನವಿಲು ಗುಂಪು, ಕೋಗಿಲೆ ಗುಂಪು, ಗಿಳಿ ಗುಂಪು ಅಂತ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಗುಂಪಿಗೆ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಹೆಸರು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀವಿ.
ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಗುಂಪಿಗೆ
ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಕಾರ್ಡನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅದನ್ನ ಅವ್ರು ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವ್ರು ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಮೊದಲೇ ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ತಿಂಗಳಿಗೆ ಈ ಪಾಠವನ್ನು ಈ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅದು ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್.
There are children whom we expect to finish after 1 academic year. They have been finishing things within 9 months or 8 months, whatever it is.
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮೊದಲಿಗೆ ರಗಸದ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಆ ಮಗು ಕಲಿಸ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ 1 ತಿಂಗಳು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ.
ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ರಮೇಣ
ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮಗು ಬೇಗ ಕಲಿಯತಕ್ಕಂತ ಮಗು ಈಗ ಡಿಸೆಂಬರ್ನಲ್ಲೇ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಅಕ್ಷರನ ಕಲ್ತ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಹೌದು, ಕಲಿಕೆನಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಂದುಳಿದಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಮಗು ಫೆಬ್ರವರಿ ಮಾರ್ಚ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಕಲಿಯುತ್ತೆ.
So this enrichment group that is created, we don't want to retard them at or control them at any stage. So what we have been trying to do is, one thing is we are making use of them for peer group teaching, and secondly the supplementary materials that is prepared, that is given to these children so that they don't go far ahead of the other children in the class.
Environmental studies is not divided into 6 groups as in language and mathematics. Instead, there are different interesting activity-based studies planned for the children. Children learn first about their own body through action songs. Earlier, this was the only method used to teach the subject, but now new methodology have been evolved which include a series of activities. At first, the whole school is involved in a general survey of their environment where they take a census of their village. A preliminary discussion is held where they identify further areas to be investigated. Then a micro-survey is conducted where specific problems are taken up for study, such as the village surroundings, water, animals and temples. The results of this study are once again discussed and conclusions are derived. Other activities for learning EVS are craft work, simple experiments and also mime, mimicry, puppet shows and project work.
ನಲಿಯುತ್ತ ಕುಣಿಯುತ್ತ ಚೆಂಗನೆ ನೆಗೆದು ಕರುವು ಓಡಿತ್ತು. ಅಮ್ಮ ಅಮ್ಮ ನನ್ನ ಕಾಲು ಮುರಿದಿದೆ, ನನಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ನೋವಾಗಿದೆ ಅಮ್ಮ.
Children take up projects related to their living environment, such as the irrigation system, water storage facility, communication system, village, bus stand, forest and wildlife. There are no written examinations. The final evaluations are in the form of simple conversations and discussions and also small pieces of writing on notebooks and cards.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, 3 ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಗಣಿತ ಮತ್ತು ಕನ್ನಡ ತುಂಬ ಸುಲಭ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ರೆಡಿ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ, ಕಾರ್ಡ್ಸು ಮತ್ತು ಏನೇನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ರೆಡಿ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ. ಪರಿಸರ ಅಧ್ಯಯನಕ್ಕೂ ನಾವು ಯೋಜನೆ ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಈ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ, ಆ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ.
Is there any flexibility on the part of the teachers to reorganize the thing? You have reorganized at a central level.
Yeah.
But what about the teachers in a particular school?
The cluster resource person that we have got is also supposed to continue as a practitioner. It is not that something like
He has a double role to play.
double role. He teaches in the classroom and at the same time he also goes around to find out what are the difficult areas, and at the same time what ideas have generated from the other teachers, so that in the monthly meeting that we have on 28th of every month we meet, and that meeting he brings all those ideas. We expect him to visit the schools coming in his jurisdiction at least once in a month, and he can also increase his number of visits in case his requirement is more, because there are teachers who are very weak in singing, there are teachers who are very weak, and
I think that is
those
one of the
weaknesses,
complaints.
so cluster resource person does that complementary role over there, and at the same time there are also a number of innovative teachers in the classroom, much better than the cluster resource person themselves. Number of ideas come to their head and they would done something else apart from what they have learnt in the training workshop. Something new things are happening in the classroom. So whatever new things that are seen in the classroom, those are brought.
Be adopted.
Those are brought to the cluster resource meeting. Thereby we discuss, and we also think in terms of in the next training workshop how these could be incorporated. So innovation is encouraged.
ಈಗ ಉದಾಹರಣೆ, ಅವ್ರ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ 2 ಕುರಿಮರಿಗಳಿತ್ತು, ಅವ್ರ ತಂದೆ ಸಂತೆಯಿಂದ 2 ಕುರಿಮರಿಗಳನ್ನ ತಂದ್ರು, ಒಟ್ಟು ಎಷ್ಟಾಯ್ತು ಆ ತರ
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವ್ಯಾವಹಾರಿಕವಾಗಿ
ಗಣಿತನ ದಿನನಿತ್ಯ ವ್ಯವಹಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಹೊಂದಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಅಂತ.
ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ವ್ಯವಕಲನ, ಗುಣಾಕಾರ
ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ
Is this experiment perfect, or is there any scope for improvement?
Definitely there can't be such a thing as perfect at all.
Yeah, and so are you attempting to?
We have been attempting, and at least from 97 98 we have been only talking in terms of refinement of the material that we have developed, and we have been trying to
lot of changes have taken
lot of changes. I think in the first ladder of language teaching we had only about 89 stages of learning, but now after joyful component of it being inserted into it, now I think the stages have gone to 165. Now
what about third and fourth? Are you planning?
Now we have developed the material. We have finished our work for third standard.
Do you
for
think that it will be done in 98, 99?
98, 99 we are going to have it for third standard.
ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಶಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬಾಕಿ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ಗಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ,
ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್.
ಅವರು ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಬೇರೆ 3, 4, 5, 6 ಈ ತರಗತಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಏನಾದರೂ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯ ಏನಾದಿದೆಯಾ?
ಅವರು ತುಂಬಾ ಖುಷಿ ಪಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಯಾವ ವಿಚಾರದಲ್ಲಿ?
ಈ ನಮ್ಮ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋ ವಿಚಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ನ ನೋಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ತುಂಬಾ
ಅಸೂಯೆ ಏನು ಇಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ, ನಾವು ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಿ.
ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕೆಲವು ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಅನುಕರಣೆ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾವು ಹೈಯರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಅನುಕರಣೆ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾ, ಇದರಿಂದ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕಲಿಕೆ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಆಗೋಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಅಂಶ ಸಿಗುತ್ತಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯಗಳನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಈ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಅವರು ಅನುಸರಿಸ್ತಾರೆ.
The other thing that we have done through this program is the parents are not very happy with the way in which a conventional school is run. The parent has sent his child for 2 years or 4 years, whatever it is. After that, he is not seeing any substantial progress in the child's learning capacity. So now through this method, we have been trying to bring in a lot of marketing impetus into it, like the action songs that are there, like whatever that is done in a private institution.
ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ಇದು ಹಳ್ಳಿ ಸರ್, ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತ ಹಳ್ಳಿಯಿಂದನೇ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು. ಮತ್ತು ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರು ಆ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಅನ್ಎಜುಕೇಟೆಡ್. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಹಿಂದೆ ಇದ್ದ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಆಗಲಿ ಈಗ ಇರೋ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಆಗಲಿ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೆ ಕೆಲವರು ಕಲಿತ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರು ಅಥವಾ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಬಂದು ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಏನು ಹಿಂದೆ ಈ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ, ಈಗೇನು ಈ ರೀತಿ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಅವಾಗ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನಾವು ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆ,
ಹಿಂದೆ ನಾವು ಹೋಮ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ, ಆದರೆ ಈಗ ನಾವು ಹೋಮ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಕ್ಳು ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ.
ಈಗ ಹೋಮ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಇಲ್ಲ,
ಇಲ್ಲ
ಮನೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಇಲ್ಲ,
ಮನೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಮಗು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಕಲಿಯುತ್ತೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಕಲಿಯೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬಂದು ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಅವಾಗ ಅವ್ರು ಈ ತರ ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನಾವು ತೋರಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಅದರಿಂದ
ಈಗೇನು ಈ ರೀತಿ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಅವಾಗ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನಾವು ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆ,
ಹಿಂದೆ ನಾವು ಹೋಮ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ನಾವು ಹೋಮ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಕ್ಳು ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ.
ಈಗ ಹೋಮ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಇಲ್ಲ,
ಇಲ್ಲ
ಮನೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಇಲ್ಲ,
ಮನೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಮಗು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಕಲಿಯುತ್ತೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಕಲಿಯೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬಂದು ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಅವಾಗ ಅವ್ರು ಈ ತರ ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನಾವು ತೋರಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಅದರಿಂದ
parent gets the feeling that no, I've sent my child for 1 month and now my child is able to sing. He can show this to his neighbors, he can show this to his relatives, and at the same time the child is able to read, write within 2 years, thereby that confidence come. Okay, I have sent my child to the school for 2 years and something fruitful.
The highlights of the project include identifying individual differences in children, the multi-level teaching, thus allowing the child to learn on a continuum achievement ladder, and making efficient use of teachers' time and of materials available, and achieving economy of expenditure. Earlier it was a lot of talk about activity-based teaching, but the process had not gone beyond the textbook. Now the teacher is able to creatively use his or her own resources to give the best to the student. Because of this, there is teacher empowerment, teacher involvement, and teacher participation in refining the material and redefining concepts. Peer teaching, including teachers training and teaching other teachers, as well as children helping other children out, is a major motivational force in the learning process. The material used is low cost and environment friendly. Children who were earlier detesting or being bored with the system of education now learn out of their own interest and motivation.
Is it success?
Taking for granted, I think achievement level could be brought to about 80%.
ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಗಣಿತನೇ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗೋದು. ಆದ್ರೂ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆ ಮೂಲಕ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ, ಅದು ಒಂದೊಂದು ಮಗುನೂ ಗಮನ ಇಟ್ಟು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಇದು ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಕಲಿಕೆ ಹಾಕೊಂಡೇ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ.
The basic idea that we have got is, especially in a rural atmosphere, the absenteeism that is there, children who stay out from the school, if the child is moving around the school and before joining the school, he should get a feeling, why not
attraction to the
why not I should also go into the school, and he should be eagerly waiting when I will get the opportunity to step into the school.
ಆ ಮಗು ಹಳೆ ಮೆಥಡ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಮೊದಲು ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ಬರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಆ ಮಗು ಒಂಥರ ಹಿಂಸೆ, ಈ ಶಾಲೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂಥರ ಹಿಂಸೆ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಯಾವಾಗ ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ಬೆಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟೋಗೋಣ ಅನ್ನೋ ತರ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ಆ ಮಗುಗೆ ಹಾಡು, ಅಭಿನಯ ಜೊತೆ ಈ ಕ್ರಾಫ್ಟ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕಲಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಆ ಮಗುಗೆ ಶಾಲೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬೇಜಾರಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಇನ್ನು ಲಾಂಗ್ ಆಬ್ಸೆಂಟ್ ಇವಾಗ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
ಆಬ್ಸೆಂಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗಿದೆ.
What
is the ultimate thing which you are attempting to achieve?
We want to see that the child is attracted to the classroom. Once the child enters into the classroom, once the class gets over, he should be thinking in terms of when I am going to enter into the classroom once again. That joy is to be created.
ಈಗ ಆ ಥರ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡೋದು ನಿಂಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟನಾ? ತುಂಬ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಯಾಕೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತು? ಒತ್ತಕ್ಷರ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರ?
ಒತ್ತಕ್ಷರ, ಪರಿಚಯ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು.
ಈಗ 3ನೇ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಅದೇ ಥರ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ನಿಮಗೆ?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್,
ಆ ಥರ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ 3ನೇ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತಾ?
ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಸರ್. ಹ್ಞೂ ಸರ್.
ಈಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಪರೀಕ್ಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರಾ ಇಲ್ಲ?
ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಸರ್.
ಎಷ್ಟು ಬಂದಿದೆ ಈ ಸಲ?
86 ಸರ್.
86 ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಈ 2ನೇ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರಲ್ಲ, ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ನೀವು 4ನೇ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ?
ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ.
ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಆಗ್ತೇವೆ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಆಗ್ತೇವೆ?
ಮೇಡಮ್.
ಒಂದು 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 ಹಸುವಿನ ಬಾಲ ಒಂದು 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 ಹಸುವಿನ ಬಾಲ ಒಂದು ಎರಡು 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 ನನ್ನ ಕಣ್ಣು